I'm nearly out of battery, looks like. And it's okay because they usually request recording devices to be turned off just before the closing prayer, or excuse me, the closing ceremony. So whenever we quit, we quit.
Yeah, okay. I guess everybody can hear me. Earlier on the hill, I mentioned that we, part of the settlement that we reached with Plymouth, that we had 2 historical markers put in. Actually, the town of Plymouth had to put them in because of the settlement. There's the one on Coles Hill, and if you didn't see it when you were up there on your way out of town, if you want to stop by that, take a look at it. And then there's this one here that talks about Metacom, or Metacomet. It's been written many different ways. Or King Philip. And he was the one, of course, that started King Philip's War in 1675 and 1676. And he was murdered. And one of his hands was cut off and sent to England. And the other hand was cut off and was sent to Boston. His wife and child or children were sold into slavery into the West Indies, and somewhere around this spot, we don't know exactly where, they severed his head and they displayed it on a pole for like 20 or 25 years, somewhere in this area, as sort of a warning sign that if you rebel or rise up, this is what we'll do for you. Now, these plaques are unique in many ways, because as I said earlier, there's 2 rocks in this town that speak the truth. This one and the one that's down on Coles Hill. We struggled very, very hard to get these plaques, but the biggest struggle we came up with is the language on the plaque. They wanted us to clear it with all these Harvard professors to make sure that it was historically accurate and all this. And we ran into an awful lot of, shall I say, yeah, that's a word that could be used. But anyway, there was a lot of problems with one word that we used, and that was the one that's on the plaque in Coles Hill. We used the word genocide. And a lot of people didn't like it. There were editorials in the paper saying, how dare we take a 20th century term and apply it to a 17th century action, and so forth and so on. We were told, don't you think that's a very strong word? Could you come up with another word? And so forth and so on. Well, we didn't. We didn't back down. We told Plymouth that we'll write the text, and our text will be the text that's used, not from some Harvard professor or someone like that. We did it. We sat down, we wrote it, and the words that are on these plaques are from United American Indians of New England. And so, if you'd like, on your way by, you can take a look at the language. But just again, I'd like to thank everybody who came out this year for the 41st. I hope to see everybody for the 42nd. You're all more than welcome. And what we're going to do now is we're going to have a potluck social. And we request, we have a way that we feed. We feed elders, disabled, women with small children, pregnant women, and so forth are first. And what we're going to do this year is there's a little red card that you're going to get with a number on it. And you can go inside and go through the line. Our peacekeepers, our security people, will be giving out these little red cards with a number on it. I'm just going to turn the mic over to my co-leader, Matoi.
I wanted to explain, those of you who've been to the social before and those of you who haven't, we have a lot of food. We have people who work for months in advance to try to get the social ready, so we have lots of food. What we don't have is a space that's big enough for all of us. The social hall space in this church will only hold about 100 people. So what we're asking is that if you are somebody who needs to go in and sit down and eat first, for whatever reasons, you're an elder, you have diabetes, whatever it is, then you need to get in that line first, and we will give you a red meal ticket for the first seating. We're going to do the social in seatings this year. So only the people who really have to go inside and sit down first should be there for the first seating. We have soup, stew, coffee, everything outside. The weather's actually pretty darn good. We also will have more food, and our kitchen people have even organized it so that you can get food to take out. They're running like a total restaurant here today. So, and we'd really appreciate you making some donations at the table to help out with this very big undertaking to feed so many people. We don't want anybody to start eating until Juan has closed and has blessed the food and everything. Those people who are going to be in the first seating, you should select yourself, okay? Instead of going in the front door to the church, there's a side entrance. Those people for the first seating should go by the side entrance after we close up, and you will be given a meal ticket and be able to go in. We have security who are doing that. I already said this. The sanctuary, which is like the churchy church part, upstairs, if you need to get in and out of the cold, you can go up there, but you cannot take food with you. Our security people will stop you. You cannot bring drinks or coffee or food or anything there. It's a church. People don't bring their food into church. Okay? That's common sense. So we want to respect the space there, work around it. Meantime, the great thing is because there are tables set up outside with things to eat and drink and stuff like that, we can visit. It's actually a good opportunity to be outside on a beautiful day and to speak with each other and to talk about this experience that we've all been together today. So I hope that you will look upon this positively and that everybody, again, there's lots of food, everybody will be fed. So please don't worry about that.
Okay, just to very quickly wrap things up, I would like to once again thank everybody for attending the 41st National Day of Mourning. I hope everyone, if it's your first time, I hope it's an experience you'll never forget. And if it's been many times for you, again, welcome. So I'm going to ask Juan to close.
This is where we got cut off. All right.